The wind howled through the pines, carrying the sharp scent of lake water and regret. Evelyn Harper gripped the steering wheel, her knuckles pale, as the car wound through the dark roads of upstate New York. She wasn't ready for this weekend, but her best friend Mia had begged her to come to the family lake house, promising peace, laughter, and escape. Evelyn wasn't naive. She knew peace was a lie when it came to Mia Bennett's chaotic family. They were loud, opinionated, and fiercely loving qualities Evelyn both envied and feared. Growing up in a quiet, conservative household, she'd learned to keep her feelings locked tight, especially the ones that made her heart race in ways she couldn't explain. At 28, she was still unraveling who she was, and the idea of spending 3 days with Mia's family felt like walking into a storm unprepared. But Mia's infectious optimism had worn her down, as always. "Ev, you're gonna love it," Mia had said over the phone, her voice bright. "Just us, the lake, some wine. Oh, and Clara's coming too." Clara, Mia's older sister. The name alone sent a jolt through Evelyn's chest, though she couldn't pinpoint why. She'd only met Clara once years ago at a crowded Christmas party. Clara had been all sharp edges and quiet intensity, her dark eyes lingering on Evelyn just a moment too long. The memory still burned. The lake house came into view, its wooden frame glowing under the moonlight. It sat nestled against Lake Willow, a sprawling glassy expanse framed by towering pines. Evelyn parked next to Mia's beat-up Jeep, her stomach twisting. She wasn't sure if it was the isolation of the place or the thought of seeing Clara again. Mia burst out the front door before Evelyn could even grab her bag. "You made it," she squealed, pulling Evelyn into a hug. Her blonde curls bounced, and her grin was as wide as the lake itself. "Come on, we're already on our second bottle of wine." Inside, the house was warm, smelling of cedar and old books. The living room was a cozy mess of plaid blankets, mismatched furniture, and a crackling fireplace. Clara sat on the couch, one leg tucked under her, a glass of red wine in her hand. At 30, she was striking short black hair, a leather jacket slung over her chair, and a presence that seemed to pull the air toward her. Her eyes flicked up, meeting Evelyn's, and for a moment the room felt too small. "Hey, Evelyn," Clara said, her voice low and smooth like a song you couldn't forget. "Long time." Evelyn managed a nod, her throat tight. "Yeah. Hi." Mia, oblivious to the tension, dragged Evelyn to the kitchen. "We're making tacos." Clara's pretending she knows how to cook, but don't trust her salsa. Clara rolled her eyes but smirked, and Evelyn felt her cheeks warm. She busied herself unpacking, trying to ignore the way Clara's gaze followed her. That night, after Mia had passed out on the couch, Evelyn found herself alone with Clara on the back porch. The lake stretched out before them, silver under the stars. Fireflies danced in the air, and the silence was heavy with something unspoken. "You don't talk much, do you?" Clara said, leaning against the railing. Her tone wasn't accusing, just curious. Evelyn shrugged, wrapping her sweater tighter around her. "Not much to say." Clara tilted her head, studying her. "I don't buy that. You've got stories. I can see it in your eyes." Evelyn's heart stuttered. No one had ever said anything like that to her before. She wanted to laugh it off, to retreat, but Clara's gaze held her in place. "What about you?" she asked, deflecting. "What's your story?" Clara's smile was small, almost sad. "Long one. Not sure you'd want to hear it." "Try me," Evelyn said, surprising herself. Clara took a sip of her wine, then set it down. "Grew up here mostly. Ran away at 17. Lived in Chicago, then Seattle. Did some things I'm not proud of, some I am. Came back when Mom got sick." She paused, her eyes distant. "Life's messy, you know?" Evelyn nodded, her chest tight. She knew messy. She'd spent years hiding who she was, afraid of what it meant to feel the way she did. But here with Clara, the weight of it felt lighter, like maybe she wasn't alone. They talked until the sky began to lighten, about music, dreams, the way the lake seemed to hold secrets. Clara's laughter was rare but warm, and every time their hands brushed, Evelyn felt a spark she couldn't ignore. By the time they went inside, something had shifted. Evelyn didn't know what it was, but she knew she wanted more. The next morning, Mia was up early, blasting music and insisting on a hike. Evelyn agreed, hoping the fresh air would clear her head. Clara joined them, her presence quiet but undeniable. As they trekked through the forest, Mia chattered endlessly, but Evelyn's attention kept drifting to Clara, her confident stride, the way she paused to point out a deer in the distance, her low chuckle when Mia tripped over a root. At the top of the trail, they reached a clearing with a view of the lake below. Mia ran ahead, snapping photos, leaving Evelyn and Clara alone. The wind tugged at Evelyn's ponytail, and she shivered, not entirely from the cold. "You okay?" Clara asked, stepping closer. Her voice was soft, but her eyes were searching. Evelyn hesitated. She wanted to say she was fine to keep things safe, but the words caught in her throat. "I don't know," she admitted. "This place. It's making me feel things I'm not used to." Clara's expression softened. "Yeah, it does that." For a moment they stood there, the world narrowing to just the two of them. Evelyn's pulse raced, and she wondered if Clara could hear it. Then Mia's voice broke the spell, calling them back to the trail. That night the tension grew. Mia suggested a game of truth or dare, her eyes glinting with mischief. Evelyn groaned inwardly, hated these games, but Clara's sly grin made her agree. The dares were silly at first. Mia had to sing off-key, Evelyn had to do a terrible dance. But when Clara's turn came, Mia's dare was bold. "Kiss someone in this room." Clara's eyes locked on Evelyn's, and the air turned electric. Evelyn's heart pounded, her mind screaming to run, but her body stayed rooted. Clara leaned in, slow and deliberate, giving Evelyn time to pull away. She didn't. The kiss was brief, soft, but it set every nerve in Evelyn's body alight. Mia whooped, oblivious to the gravity of the moment, but Evelyn couldn't breathe. Clara pulled back, her eyes unreadable. "Your turn," she said, her voice steady, but Evelyn saw the flicker of something deeper. As the night ended, Evelyn lay awake, replaying the kiss, the way Clara's lips had felt, the way her own heart had betrayed her. She wasn't supposed to feel this way, not for a woman, not for her best friend's sister. But the lake house with its quiet magic was unraveling her carefully built walls, and she wasn't sure she could stop it. The lake shimmered under the morning sun, but Evelyn's mind was a storm. She sat on the dock, her bare feet dangling over the water, replaying the kiss from last night. It wasn't just a dare, it had cracked something open inside her, something she'd buried for years. Mia bounded out of the house, her energy relentless. "Ev, let's go swimming," she called, oblivious to the turmoil in Evelyn's chest. Clara followed, carrying a towel, her expression unreadable. Evelyn avoided her gaze, afraid of what she might see or reveal. The water was cold, a shock to Evelyn's system, but it didn't dull the heat in her cheeks when Clara dove in, her movements graceful and sure. Mia splashed and laughed, but Evelyn felt Clara's presence like a magnet. Every glance, every brush of their shoulders in the water, sent her heart racing. She wanted to talk about the kiss, to ask what it meant, but fear kept her silent. After swimming, Mia suggested a boat ride. The old rowboat creaked as they climbed in, Mia at the helm, Evelyn and Clara side by side in the back. The lake was calm, the air thick with the scent of pine and water. Mia chattered about her job, her latest dating disasters, but Evelyn barely heard her. Clara's knee pressed against hers, and the contact felt deliberate, electric. "You're quiet today," Clara said softly, her voice meant only for Evelyn. Evelyn swallowed. "Just thinking." "About what?" Clara's tone was gentle, but her eyes were piercing. Evelyn's mouth went dry. She wanted to say everything, how the kiss had undone her, how she'd spent years hiding her feelings, how Clara's presence made her question everything she thought she knew about herself. But Mia was right there and the words wouldn't come. Instead she said, "The lake. It's beautiful." Clara's lips curved, like she knew Evelyn was dodging. "Yeah, it is." That afternoon, Mia got a call from work and disappeared into the house to deal with it, leaving Evelyn and Clara alone on the porch. The silence was heavy, charged with everything unsaid. Evelyn fidgeted with her sweater, her nerves fraying. "Last night," Clara said suddenly, her voice low, "that wasn't just a dare for me." Evelyn's breath caught. She looked at Clara, whose dark eyes were steady, vulnerable. "What was it then?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Clara leaned closer, her hand resting on the railing near Evelyn's. "Something I've wanted to do since I saw you at that Christmas party 3 years ago." Evelyn's heart stopped. 3 years. She'd thought that moment Clara's lingering gaze, the way her presence had felt like a spark, had been in her head. "Why didn't you say anything?" Clara laughed, a soft, bitter sound. "I was a mess back then. Still am, maybe. And you seemed so untouchable. Like you had your life all figured out." Evelyn shook her head, her throat tight. "I don't. I never have. I've just been hiding." "From what?" Clara's voice was gentle, but it cut deep. Evelyn looked out at the lake, her vision blurring. "From myself. From feeling things I wasn't supposed to feel." She paused, the words heavy. "I grew up in a house where love had rules, and I've been following them my whole life." Clara's hand brushed hers, tentative but warm. "You don't have to follow them here." The words were a lifeline, but they terrified her. Evelyn pulled her hand away, her chest tight. "I don't know how to do this," she admitted. "I don't even know what this is." Clara didn't push. She just nodded, her eyes soft. "You don't have to know yet. But I'm here." Mia returned, breaking the moment, and the rest of the day passed in a blur of laughter and normalcy. But Evelyn couldn't shake Clara's words, or the way her touch had felt. That night, as they sat around the fire, Mia told stories of their childhood, but Evelyn's mind was elsewhere. She stole glances at Clara, who seemed to glow in the firelight, her laughter rare but genuine. When Mia went to bed, Evelyn and Clara stayed by the fire. The air was cooler now, the stars brighter. Clara tossed another log onto the flames, then sat closer to Evelyn than necessary. "Tell me something real," Clara said, her voice quiet. "Something you've never told anyone." Evelyn's heart pounded. She wanted to run, to hide, but Clara's gaze held her. "When I was 16, she began, her voice shaking, "I had a crush on my best friend. A girl. I never told her. I was too scared. My parents, they wouldn't have understood. So I pushed it down, pretended it wasn't real. But it was." Clara's eyes softened, but she didn't interrupt. "It's always been there," Evelyn continued, her voice breaking. "This part of me I don't know how to face. And being here with you, it's bringing it all back." Clara reached for her hand, and this time Evelyn didn't pull away. "You're not alone in this," Clara said. "I've been there. I've spent years running from who I am, afraid of what it meant. But I'm done running." Evelyn's eyes burned with tears. "How do you do it? How do you just be?" Clara smiled, small and sad. "One step at a time. And sometimes you find someone who makes those steps easier." The words hung between them, heavy with meaning. Evelyn wanted to lean in, to close the distance, but fear held her back. Instead, she squeezed Clara's hand, a silent promise. The next day, tensions rose. Mia noticed the shift between them, her brow furrowing. "You two are acting weird," she said over breakfast, her tone half teasing, half suspicious. Evelyn's stomach dropped, but Clara just shrugged, her calm infuriatingly perfect. "We're fine," Clara said, but her eyes flicked to Evelyn, a question in them. Mia didn't push, but Evelyn felt her friend's gaze linger. She wasn't ready to explain, not to Mia, not to herself. The weight of it all was suffocating, and she excused herself to walk to the lake alone. The water was still, reflecting the gray sky. Evelyn sat on the dock, her mind racing. She wanted Clara, more than she'd ever wanted anyone, but the fear of what it meant of losing Mia, of facing her family, of admitting who she was felt like a wall she couldn't climb. Clara found her there, her boots crunching on the gravel. "You okay?" she asked, sitting beside her. Evelyn shook her head. "I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be me." Clara was quiet for a moment, then said, "You don't have to have it all figured out. Just take it one moment at a time." Evelyn looked at her, the vulnerability in Clara's eyes mirroring her own. Slowly she leaned in, and this time she kissed Clara. It was soft, hesitant, but it felt like coming home. When they pulled back, Clara smiled, her hand cupping Evelyn's cheek. "That's a start," she whispered. The kiss lingered in Evelyn's mind like a melody she couldn't shake. She and Clara had stolen moments by the lake, their hands brushing, their voices low, but the weight of the unspoken loomed larger with each passing hour. Mia's presence was a constant reminder that this wasn't just about them, it was about family, friendship, and the risk of breaking something precious. That afternoon, Mia suggested a bonfire by the lake. The air was crisp, the sky a deep indigo as they piled logs and lit the flames. Evelyn sat across from Clara, the firelight dancing in her eyes. Mia was in high spirits, roasting marshmallows and telling stories, but Evelyn felt the tension building. Mia's glances between them were sharper now, her laughter a little forced. "Ev, you're so quiet," Mia said, poking her with a marshmallow stick. "What's going on in that head of yours?" Evelyn forced a smile. "Just tired." Mia raised an eyebrow but let it go. Clara, though, watched her carefully, her expression unreadable. Evelyn wanted to tell her everything, how the kiss had changed her, how she was terrified but alive in a way she'd never been. But Mia was right there, and the words stayed locked inside. As the fire died down, Mia yawned and headed inside, leaving Evelyn and Clara alone. The silence was heavy, the crackle of embers the only sound. Clara moved closer, her shoulder brushing Evelyn's. "You're scared," Clara said, not a question. Evelyn nodded, staring at the flames. "I don't know how to tell her. Mia's my best friend. If she can't handle this, I don't know what I'll do." Clara's hand found hers, steady and warm. "Mia loves you. She'll come around. But you have to be honest with her, with yourself." Evelyn's throat tightened. "What if I lose her?" "You won't," Clara said, her voice firm. "But even if it's hard, you can't keep hiding who you are. It'll eat you alive." Evelyn looked at her, the firelight softening Clara's sharp edges. She wanted to believe her, to trust that everything would be okay, but the fear was a knot in her chest. Still, Clara's hand in hers felt like an anchor, grounding her. The next morning, Mia was quieter, her usual energy subdued. Over coffee, she looked at Evelyn, her eyes searching. "You and Clara. Something's going on, isn't it?" Evelyn froze, her mug trembling in her hands. Clara, sitting across the table, stayed silent, letting Evelyn decide. The room felt too small, the air too thick. Evelyn started, her voice cracking. "Mia, I need to tell you something." Mia's expression tightened, but she nodded. "Okay. Tell me." Evelyn took a deep breath, her heart pounding. I think I have feelings for Clara. And I think she feels the same." The words hung in the air, heavy and fragile. Mia's face went blank, then her eyes narrowed. "Wait, you're saying you're into my sister? Like into her?" Evelyn nodded, her stomach twisting. "I didn't mean for it to happen. Just did." Mia set her mug down hard, the sound sharp in the quiet room. "And you didn't think to tell me? I'm your best friend, Ev. You've been sneaking around behind my back." "It wasn't like that," Evelyn said, her voice desperate. "I was scared. I didn't know how to." "Scared?" Mia cut her off, her voice rising. "You think I'm some kind of bigot? You think I wouldn't get it?" Clara spoke up, her tone calm but firm. "Mia, this isn't about you. It's about Evelyn figuring herself out. She's been carrying this alone for a long time." Mia turned to Clara, her eyes flashing. "And you? You just decided to make a move on my best friend. You knew how much she means to me." Clara didn't flinch. "I didn't plan this, Mia. Just happened. And I care about her." Mia stood, her chair scraping against the floor. "I need some air," she said and stormed out, the door slamming behind her. Evelyn's eyes filled with tears. "I messed this up," she whispered. Clara reached for her hand. "You didn't. You were honest. That's what matters." But Evelyn couldn't shake the guilt. She found Mia by the lake, sitting on a rock, her arms crossed. The silence between them was painful, a stark contrast to their usual easy banter. "I'm sorry," Evelyn said, her voice small. "I didn't want to hurt you." Mia sighed, her shoulders slumping. "I'm not mad that you're whatever you are. I'm mad that you didn't trust me. You've been my best friend since college, Ev. You should have known I'd have your back." Evelyn's tears spilled over. "I was scared. I've spent my whole life hiding this part of me. I didn't know how to tell you." Mia looked at her, her expression softening. "I get it. I need time to process this. And Clarash's my sister, but she's not exactly easy to deal with. I don't want you getting hurt." Evelyn nodded, wiping her eyes. "I don't know what this is yet, but it feels real." Mia's lips twitched, not quite a smile. "Okay, just don't shut me out, all right?" They sat in silence for a while, the lake lapping at the shore. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. When they returned to the house, Clara was waiting, her eyes searching Evelyn's. Evelyn gave her a small nod, and Clara's shoulders relaxed. That night, Evelyn and Clara stole away to the dock, the stars bright above them. They sat close, their hands intertwined, the world quiet except for the soft hum of crickets. "I'm proud of you," Clara said, her voice low. "That took guts." Evelyn smiled, her heart lighter. "I'm still scared. But I'm tired of hiding." Clara leaned in, kissing her softly, and Evelyn let herself sink into it, the fear melting away. For the first time, she felt like she was exactly where she was supposed to be. The lake house felt different now. Like the air itself held the weight of Evelyn's confession. Mia was trying, she made small talk, laughed at Clara's bad jokes, but there was a distance that hadn't been there before. Evelyn felt it like a bruise, tender and persistent, but she held on to Clara's words, one step at a time. The days blurred together, filled with quiet moments that carried new meaning. Clara and Evelyn stole glances during meals, their fingers brushing when they passed dishes. Mia noticed, her eyes flickering with something unreadable, but she didn't comment. Evelyn wanted to bridge the gap, but she didn't know how. One afternoon, Clara suggested they explore the old barn behind the house. It was a weathered structure, filled with dusty tools and forgotten memories. The air inside was warm, smelling of hay and wood. Clara led the way, her confidence drawing Evelyn in. "Used to hide here when I was a kid," Clara said, climbing a rickety ladder to the loft. "Whenever things got too loud." Evelyn followed, her heart racing not from the climb, but from the way Clara's hand steadied her. In the loft, sunlight streamed through a cracked window, illuminating motes of dust. They sat on an old blanket, the world outside forgotten. "Tell me something else," Clara said, her voice soft. "Something no one else knows." Evelyn hesitated, then spoke. "I used to write poetry. Stupid, sappy stuff. About love, about girls I'd never admit I liked. I burned it all when I was 18, afraid my parents would find it." Clara's eyes softened. "I wish I could have read it." Evelyn laughed, embarrassed. "It was terrible." "Doesn't matter," Clara said, her hand resting on Evelyn's knee. "It was you." The words hit hard, and Evelyn felt her walls crumbling. She leaned in, kissing Clara, and this time there was no hesitation, no fear. The kiss deepened, urgent and full of everything they'd been holding back. When they pulled apart, breathless, Clara's smile was radiant. "Your trouble," Evelyn said, her voice shaky but happy. Clara grinned. "The best kind." But the happiness was fragile. That evening, Mia cornered Evelyn in the kitchen. "I need to talk to you," she said, her voice low. "Alone." Evelyn's stomach dropped, but she nodded. They stepped outside, the lake glowing under the moon. Mia's arms were crossed, her expression tense. "I'm trying to be okay with this," Mia said. "But Clara, she's not stable, Ev. She's been through a lot stuff she doesn't talk about. I don't want you getting caught in her chaos." Evelyn's chest tightened. "What do you mean?" Mia sighed. "She's had relationships that ended badly. She pushes people away. I love her, but she's my sister, I know her flaws. I don't want you to get hurt." Evelyn wanted to argue, to say Clara was different with her, but doubt crept in. She'd seen the shadows in Clara's eyes, the way she deflected questions about her past. "I'll be careful," she said finally, but the words felt hollow. That night, Evelyn couldn't sleep. She slipped out to the porch where Clara was already sitting, a blanket draped over her shoulders. The air was cool, the lake a mirror of stars. "Couldn't sleep?" Clara asked, her voice soft. Evelyn shook her head, sitting beside her. "Mia talked to me. About you." Clara's jaw tightened. "Let me guess. She warned you to stay away." "She's worried," Evelyn said. "She thinks you'll hurt me." Clara looked away, her hands gripping the blanket. "She's not wrong. I've messed things up before. A lot. But with you, it's different. I want to be better." Evelyn's heart ached. She wanted to believe her, but Mia's words lingered. "Tell me," she said. "Tell me about your past. I need to know." Clara was quiet for a long time, then spoke. "I fell in love once in Seattle. Her name was Rachel. I thought she was it, you know? But I was a mess, drinking too much, running from my problems. I pushed her away and she left. It broke me. She paused, her voice raw. I've been trying to put myself back together ever since. Evelyn reached for her hand, her fear softening. You're not that person anymore. Clara's eyes met hers, vulnerable and searching. I'm trying not to be. But I need you to know I'm not perfect. I might screw this up. Evelyn squeezed her hand. I'm not perfect either. But I want to try. They sat in silence, the weight of their words settling around them. For the first time, Evelyn felt like she could see Clara not just the confident, magnetic woman, but the one who carried scars, who was fighting to be whole. It made her love her more. The next day Mia seemed softer, her smiles less forced. Over breakfast, she nudged Evelyn's shoulder. I'm sorry if I came on strong, she said. I just want you to be happy. Evelyn smiled, relief flooding her. I know. And I am. The rest of the day felt lighter, like the lake itself was breathing easier. They swam, laughed, and for a moment it was just the three of them, like old times. But Evelyn felt the pull of Clara, the promise of something new. As the sun set, she knew the weekend was ending. But this feeling, this truth was just beginning. The final morning at the lake house dawned soft and golden, the air heavy with the promise of departure. Evelyn packed her bag, her movements slow, reluctant. The weekend had changed her, unearthing parts of herself she'd buried for years. Clara was a part of that, but so was Mia, and the delicate balance they found felt fragile. At breakfast, Mia was quiet but warm, her earlier tension eased. You're coming back next summer, right? She asked Evelyn, her tone light but her eyes serious. Evelyn smiled, her heart full. Wouldn't miss it. Clara was outside, loading the car, her movements purposeful but her expression soft. Evelyn joined her, the morning sun warm on her skin. You okay? Clara asked, her voice low. Evelyn nodded. Better than I've been in a long time. Clara's smile was small but genuine. Good. Because I'm not letting you disappear on me. They drove back to the city in Mia's Jeep, the three of them squeezed together, music blaring. Evelyn sat in the back, Clara's hand resting on her knee, a quiet anchor. Mia caught her eye in the rearview mirror and grinned, and for the first time, Evelyn felt like they'd all come through something together. Back in the city, life resumed its rhythm, but Evelyn was different. She and Clara texted constantly, their conversations a mix of playful banter and raw honesty. They met for coffee, then dinner, then walks in the park, each moment building something solid, real. Mia joined them sometimes, her laughter a reminder that their friendship was healing, growing stronger. One evening, a month later, Evelyn invited Clara to her apartment. It was small, cluttered with books and plants, but it was hers. They sat on the couch, a bottle of wine between them, the city lights sparkling outside. I told my parents, Evelyn said suddenly, her voice steady. About us. Clara's eyes widened. How'd that go? Evelyn took a deep breath. Not great. They didn't yell, but they don't get it. They need time. She paused, her eyes meeting Clara's. But I don't care. I'm done hiding. Clara's smile was radiant, and she pulled Evelyn into a kiss, soft and full of promise. I'm so proud of you, she whispered. Evelyn felt tears prick her eyes, but they were happy ones. She'd spent years afraid of this moment off loving someone, of being herself. But here with Clara she felt free. Months passed and their relationship deepened. There were challenges, Mia's occasional unease, Clara's lingering insecurities, Evelyn's struggle to reconcile her past with her present. But they faced them together, their love a quiet strength. Mia came around fully, her loyalty fierce, and the three of them found a new rhythm, a family built on trust and acceptance. One spring evening they returned to the lake house. It was just the two of them this time, the air warm with the promise of summer. They sat on the dock, their feet in the water, fireflies dancing around them. Do you ever think about the future? Evelyn asked, her voice soft. Clara looked at her, her eyes bright. All the time. And you're in it. Evelyn's heart swelled. She leaned against Clara, their shoulders touching, the lake stretching out before them. The world wasn't perfect, there would be more fights, more fears, more moments of doubt. But here, in this moment, Evelyn knew she'd found something worth fighting for. As the stars emerged, Clara took her hand, and Evelyn felt the truth settle into her bones. Love wasn't about rules or fear. It was about courage, about choosing to be seen, to be whole. And with Clara by her side, she was ready to face whatever came next. The lake house stood behind them, a silent witness to their story, a story of fear, love, and the beauty of becoming. And as the water lapped at the shore, Evelyn knew this was only the beginning. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe to get notifications about next videos.